From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. With Gina Grad on news and Bryan on sound effects. And now, Mike Lynch had 2 weeks to write a really great intro joke. He failed. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Mandate, get it on. And welcome to 2021, everybody. Not a day too soon. Good day, Gina Grad.
Good day and good year to you.
And Bald Bryan. Lots of thoughts. So we start off with a little drama. Dr. Drew and the COVID.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have probably heard about that.
A lot of people on Twitter accusing us of keeping it quiet for 2 weeks.
Running best ofs.
Yeah, that's right. Go to great lengths. I'll talk about it.
I saw him on Christmas Eve. So, and then he then later on that evening came down with it or started showing symptoms.
Shit.
So,
boy.
Does that give you pause? Does that make you think about your, mortality? Mortality is a stupid thing, but does that give you a little bit of a, oh, shit?
No, never thought about it.
Yeah, this is the guy who's been eating dirt and drinking ice water out of a cooler.
I know, but it's the plague of our time, and it's the same day.
Well, Drew has a unique wiring, and something that he said several months ago that we talked about, but I think people really need to understand it, which is when Trump got his physical and his doctor was like, he's in tip-top shape, and everyone's like, get out of here. Look at the guy. He's 70 pounds overweight. No way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He eats fast food. Look at him. Drew made the distinction of saying there's a difference between being in shape, like being fit,
right,
and then being healthy. Trump is not fit, but he's healthy. Drew is very fit, but he has a lot of shit going on with him.
Right.
He has conditions. You know what
I'm
I mean?
more in the Trump camp.
I like to dabble in both.
Yeah, well, I commit.
I like to dip one foot in each one of those unhealthy wading pools. So Drew, and again, you wouldn't know it if you saw him walking around the beach in his board shorts, but Drew has stuff going on. And when Drew gets hit with these viruses, they hit him hard. They one thing I've known about the guy the whole time I've known him is this shit hits him. Like it fucks him up more than it would fuck up your average person, or certainly what you think of when you think of Drew. So I kind of knew that going in. So he became symptomatic in like the middle of the night, literally Christmas Day, like 3:30, 4 in the morning, woke up, knew something was off, knew something was going on with him. There's a picture of Drew convalescing with a bottle of his own urine.
That's what it looks like.
Yes, Dr. Zelenko told him zinc and hydrochloroquine and drink your own urine. And Drew is
being a good student.
It looks like Susan may have been drinking it as well.
Can't be too safe, Gina.
They were hydrating. Anyway, so then he wakes up the next day and he's like, I have COVID. And I said, he sent me a text. I said, well, how do you know? And he said, I know. I've got this. And I said, all right. And then he got tested, and it was negative. And then he got tested again, and it was negative, I think the following day. I and the family were slated to go to Mark Garrigas's house on Christmas Day evening. Mark was doing testing for everyone who came to the party.
Wow.
So everyone, there was like...
does he have rapid tests, like sort of instant result kind of thing?
It's a 3-dayer, but he brings the drinks out to the driveway and time passes quickly.
Their canvas tents, it's really pretty.
The architecture is so beautiful, this place, you really get lost in it
Time
sometimes.
flies.
That's right. Yeah, he had a couple of nurses, and they did the rapid testing, and it took about 8 minutes, I believe.
It's crazy.
And they logged everyone in and, had them on a tablet and got everyone checked. And everybody in my family and everyone in the party everyone passed, and everyone went into the party. And then Drew, he tested negative for like 2 or 3 days. So then I tested, and I tested negative too. So I thought, all right, well, I feel fine.
But you know what? That's where the Jews really do have one over on the rest of you, because Drew can test negative as many times as he wants, but he knows he's sick and he will keep taking that test until it agrees with him.
That's right.
And he just kept getting more symptomatic, and he was on all the protocols and did all the stuff and got the infusions, and he was doing everything. And he said it was helping, but it was still kicking his ass. And I talked to him every day. Seemed, he was as good as could be expected. And then maybe on the 3rd day, he tested positive, which he was really happy about.
He's elated.
He was elated because he's like, there's no fucking way I'm going through all this shit and not having immunity.
Well, and that was the other thing he said on his, I watched a couple of his Instagram lives, and I don't remember the specific kind, but he mentioned something to the effect of, if it wasn't COVID, it was a very serious form of leukemia. So those are the only 2 things that could have explained his symptoms.
Yeah, he posted something hoping for COVID, and people were
Right.
like, what do you mean hoping? He's like, well, the alternative is not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if the alternative is the flu, you still went through all this shit, and now you have no immunity.
Right.
So he wanted it, and he got his wish. So he got it, and now it's interesting because his wife, who sleeps in the same bed as he, and was sleeping in the same bed, while he was becoming symptomatic and waking up in the middle of the night on Christmas Day and all that, doesn't have anything. It completely missed her.
But his son got it, right? From like passing the food tray in the morning. I mean, this is just what he said on the Instagram live, but he's fine. I don't know if it's Jordan or Douglas.
I didn't talk to him about that. He seemed to say that everyone in the house was tested and checked out. But again, you can get tested on, he got tested on on a Friday, and then he got tested on a Saturday, and then he tested positive on a Sunday or something like that. So, the whole thing about the whole testing thing is it's great, but if you're not producing enough viral load to have a positive test, then you get tested with symptoms. With symptoms, he gets tested again. Nothing, and then something. So it's not, the whole testing thing is not exactly a science. Well, it is a science, but it doesn't mean that much.
Right. It's not Bible. It's not law.
Well, theoretically, everyone who went to Mark's party could have tested negative and then had it 2 days later, and had it while they were testing negative. Anyway, so he was. I was talking to him every day. He was kind of telling me what it was. What he was feeling, I was going through. He was saying that if this hit, he could see why this kicks the shit out of an 85-year-old. You know what I mean? Like this, right. And doesn't do that much to a 24-year-old. And then I started thinking, nature, all it does, really, whether it's a virus or a pack of hyenas, it just wants the old and the sick to kind of fall a little behind, and then it's just going to come pick them off. That's just what nature does. It just kind
natural
of
selection.
Darwinism.
Yeah, it just picks you off. The healthy young gazelles stay up front. They don't have any problem. The weaker ones start to fall behind. The sicker ones fall behind, and they get picked off. And struck me that the virus isn't really much different than a pack of hyenas or any other animals out in the Serengeti. They're like preying. They just find whoever's weak, who's ever injured, whoever's lame, whoever's whatever, and whoever's old and can't keep up, and they just come up and they pick you off. So Drew had a bunch of, like I said, stuff hits him hard. That's just the way he is. Well, many years ago, I've told you guys the story, but we had the exact same hernia procedure. He told me I was going to be on my back for 2 weeks. I told him I wouldn't. I'd see you at work. I got the procedure Friday night a million years ago, and I told him I'd see him Sunday night for Loveline. And he's like, no way, you're not coming in here. And I said, I think I'll be fine. And he said, I had the exact same procedure done that you're going to have done in the same hospital with the same doctor and
Same scalpel.
Still
Same
has
sutures.
plasma, fresh. And he said, no, you're not coming in. I had it Friday night, the hernia surgery. I woke up Saturday morning and hung doors at my new house. I felt completely and utterly fine and unscathed, 100%. So Drew gets hit by this stuff pretty hard. I spoke to him a little earlier today. Says he's coming out the other side, but still not himself. So that is Drew and the COVID. And it's funny that after all this time of him talking about it, he gets it on Christmas Day.
That sucks.
And it just went and it's just going to run all the way through his vacation.
Yeah, anything that would have been a vacation.
Go right on through, and then he'll just probably come out the other side right about time to go back to work.
Can we count on hearing from Drew on this show? I'd love to.
Yeah,
It'd be a great get, obviously.
Yeah.
I was gonna hit him up. Man, Max Pata, you can hit him up. I was gonna hit him up, and I thought, I don't know, leave him alone. But on the other hand,
he's doing Instagram videos.
He's doing a lot of Instagram live.
See if he's up and wants to just check in.
Ooh, and here's to sweeten the deal. We can use my favorite phrase in the world, Dr. Drew breaking his silence.
That's right. That's right. It's also fun to read all the tweets that are glad he got it, like from David Allen Greer and other dear friends like that. Yeah, he was talking shit about Drew. I mean, on Twitter.
Once he'd recovered.
Yeah. Well, Dag posted an Instagram post of the headline of Drew getting COVID, and his caption was like "Clown of the Year."
Yeah, that's nice. What a dickhead, by the way. Drew's always so good to Dag. It's so insane that Dag has like Trump derangement syndrome, and he's also nuts, but it's sad. It's sad that people do that. But either way, then I would read some tweets, and they're like, this is what you get bragging about going out to eat. And I'm like, yeah, Drew probably either got it from eating outside or from working at a fucking hospital.
It's 50-50. There's no way to know.
50-50. You'll never know whether we got it out in the parking lot at the Parkway Grill in Pasadena or he got it from being in a COVID-infested roach motel known as the hospital he was having to go in and out of. He just missed his vaccine thing, got all fucked up.
Oh, that's
what happened with that? He said there was like some major snafu.
He just got jobbed on it. Like he had a date and he went in and they didn't have the paperwork and then they wanted him to come back. And it was just, he's convinced he got it from going to go get the fucking vaccine at the hospital and having to walk all through the hospital and go upstairs and talk to this guy and come back down and talk to that guy. But again,
oh, sweet irony.
Could have got it from eating outside. You never know. So that was the saga of Drew and the saga of his COVID. And we'll see if he's up and wants to check in with us. On a happy note, somebody tweeted me that Uppity made Mashables. I think it's Mashable, right?
Yeah, Mashables, 20 best documentaries on Netflix.
Yeah,
all right.
Good. Yeah,
I read the whole list. It is a very diverse, and by diverse I mean ethnically, sexual orientation, and there's you.
Yeah, and then there's me. I know.
I have some of the other docs that are on that list.
There we go.
Yeah,
We made it to number 8. Yeah,
The Last Dance, number 7.
love that series.
20 Feet from Stardom, the Academy Award winner.
It's
number
weird
10.
because that thing's been out for like 7 years or something
At
now,
least.
I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like there's another wave.
Miss Americana, the Taylor Swift doc, at number 12.
All right.
Athlete A, that Larry Nassar story, that's number 15. Blackfish at number 19.
That's been around for a while, too.
Yeah.
These are, but they're still the best documentaries on Netflix of all. This looks like of all time.
Of
Well,
all
that's the thing.
time.
Netflix doesn't exactly just have 20 documentaries. Netflix
Right.
Yeah,
has
and there's some pretty
100.
obscure ones. Obscure ones on there too that are very, wave the torch for social justice.
Yeah,
Rightfully
that's
so.
where they start off. So we made number 8. That's a
you.
good thing. And then, terms of protocol, we're all trying to figure out, like, what are the rules. I was on a Southwest flight, 100% full. 100%. Not COVID full. Every single seat. Every
no
single
outdoor
seat
restaurants.
taken. Nope, just every seat.
No.
I saw somebody who had a boarding position that I've never even seen before. I've never been on a Southwest flight this full. Boarding party or boarding group C, number 70.
That's
I
the
was
back
like,
line,
70.
the
I don't-
last seat.
I
a
didn't
jump
think
seat.
Yeah, I didn't think C got past like 55. This was 70. Literally every single seat on the flight filled. But how does it go? Like LA, it flew from Vegas. We're getting a little chop on the line, but that's all right. It flew from Vegas to LAX. LAX, last I checked, is having the biggest spike in the country. So how does Southwest lift it from 50% capacity to, I don't know, 70% capacity to 100% capacity flying into LAX? How does that
Because
work?
they were allowed to do
My
that.
guess is the exact same answer as when you're marveling about the teachers and the union, how powerful they are. The airline lobby is extremely powerful, and I think they're just like, hey, let's fill these goddamn planes. And the senators who take their money are like, all right, and they just pass a law, or governors, or whatever lawmaker it is. You know what I mean?
I guess,
governors or
but
whatever.
meanwhile, Disneyland is still shuttered after 10 months. Like
Yep.
Disneyland, I feel
Get a
like
better lobby.
they got a
But
little
yeah, because
juice.
Disney World was fully booked for New Year's Eve. So,
Right.
I mean, we have
Yeah.
a lot of hot and cold.
I wonder if California doesn't have jurisdiction over flights that leave from other places. I'm totally spitballing here.
I don't know, but it was literally, and they announced it like 3 times. Like, don't look around for a seat, find a seat and sit in it.
Wow.
Between whomever, whatever. It was all random people and 100% full. All
So
right.
why are you bearing the lead of this like drunken debauchery of a Vegas weekend that we're not hearing about?
Oh, Vegas. Went to Vegas with Matt DeAndrea. Ate indoors. Went to Mr. Chow's.
Ooh.
Went to Nobu. It was
Jesus.
so fucking awesome. I mean,
Debaucherous.
So you
missed
went all the way to
cruise?
Vegas just to eat inside, just to go to
You
two
missed
restaurants.
You missed the cruise that much this year?
yes.
To gamble and eat indoors?
LA is just so goddamn shut down. Everyone wears their mask. Everyone is, nobody doesn't wear a mask. The casino was full. The casinos were full. Everything was full. Everything was full. Everyone wore a mask. Seemed pretty copacetic, but I have no idea what the outcome's going to be. But
Everything was full? Oh, come on.
I waited.
I know.
Hey, buddy. Mask up. And quit your grinning and drop your lid and keep the mask on, Jade. No, drop the thong. No, don't put the thong on your... Jesus Christ, where's the Purell? All right. So that was interesting. I wouldn't have the foggiest what the answer would be from the city council, the health department, or whatever, where you go, why do 100% full flights, Southwest flights get to fly into LAX times 50 a day? How does that work?
Flies in the face. No pun intended. It flies in the face of what we're facing
when we're spiking. But all right, enough about me. We'll see if Drew pops up. You guys, what did you guys do? Any travel? Any stuff?
Go ahead, Gina.
I was going to say, I guess I'll go first because we stayed planted. We have, the little one here and really just needed a rest. I slept for 2 days over the weekend. I think I just needed it. I just needed to be unconscious and it felt awesome. I cooked a lot. Kaylin has a picture of some of my offerings and this isn't all of them. This is just some of the ones that were photographed. You got those? Oh, on Christmas Day, I just wanted to see what we had around the house, and I made this really great artichoke dip for 3 people, 2.5 people, because one's 5.
You had artichoke
I made the
pine cones.
yeah, I made the Well, it's keto. I made the sausage biscuits that I made for you guys last year, the keto sausage biscuits for Christmas. That was our little Christmas breakfast. Did a lot of air frying brats, which is always a winner in this house, with some sauerkraut. Cookies for Santa. One's missing because, the 5-year-old wasn't going to give them all to Santa. But that was really fun to make those. And Bryan, I put these up because I want to thank you. These are the Dolly Parton Christmas cookies that you gave me.
Excellent. Sweet.
So Santa really enjoyed those.
Nice.
And just had a great time. Oh yeah, I made broccoli fritters too. That was my other.
I have a food related tip. I did the Korean barbecue.
Oh, the best.
I got the Korean barbecue set.
What do you mean?
It in. There is like a home Korean barbecue. Oh yeah.
No shit.
Oh yeah.
A flat grill surface.
It's like a trash can lid.
Yeah. It is. It looks. I don't know. It's kind of like a skillet meets a George Foreman grill. Whatever. It's probably they probably have different sizes. Probably like 20 inches around.
Little trays around everything, or no?
No, it's just for cooking it. Went down to the Korean supermarket. You go to the Korean supermarket. If anyone hasn't been to a Korean supermarket, you haven't lived, or you're not going to live long. I don't know how it works, but the Korean, you got to go into a Korean. Like you got to go to Koreatown and go into a Korean supermarket. It is filled. First off, the colors, the sounds,
the smells,
the fish,
kimchi,
and you can get all this like marinated like flank steak and ribeye and all this stuff, and you just get it, and then you grill up all the vegetables, you make a pot of rice, and then you just start grilling this stuff. You just start throwing it on.
Look at you.
Awesome.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did it up. I made a big meal for the kids. It was fun. It was pretty goddamn awesome. And
those
Korean
interactive meals. Yeah, yes. It is the best, except you better have a very good exhaust fan for Korean barbecue, because your dog will attack you.
I literally set off the smoke detector.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, that's so great. Not that I need another appliance in this house, but that I might have to do.
Good to know.
So we and Kaylin, just go through whatever. I mean, we just laid low, went to the beach on Christmas, of course, Santa was here because these walls are very thin. Santa came and the presents were bountiful, and the little one had the time of his life. And there's right when Santa left, we took a picture of the little tree and I don't know, 50 presents for one child. Santa brought him an electric guitar, so that's been tough on me. We went to the beach. Saying I'm gonna kill Santa. Went to the beach and just really kind of lazed around. New Year's Eve, it was the three of us. We had a little dance party. We went up to Mulholland and took some pictures and got some fresh air, and played with Legos, played a little Super Mario, ordered some Chinese. That was my Happy New Year picture. And we just really had a nice little time, the three of us, over the week, and it was lovely.
Brian, what'd you do?
Exact same thing. We're lucky. I'm sure Gina's experiencing this, and you probably did too. Tessa, now being 4 years old, like she's just entering that sweet spot for Christmas. Like she's into Santa. She wants to wrap everything, you know what I mean, and give it to a friend. She's into it. She wants to decorate everything. Kaylin, you have a picture of the baking. We started off by going down to Christy's great grandma's old house in Balboa and doing baking, and Tessa loved it.
She still has a great grandmother?
They passed away. That's the family house now.
Damn.
This is the one in Newport.
Oh.
But with the kitchen, with the mixer, the stand that pops up. You know what I mean? The old timey stand that like pops up from down below. I don't even know Adam, what would you call that? You probably built one or two of those.
Yeah, there was a time when it's kind of weird. Like there was this time probably in the 60s, maybe in the 70s, certainly a little bit in the 50s, where we thought everything's going to be kind of convenient, like we're going to take the blender, and instead of putting the blender on top of the counter, we're going to incorporate it into the counter.
Yes.
Like a whack-a-mole.
Yeah. And we'll have the knob built into the counter. It's all great until someone busts the blender and no other blender will fit the thing that's in the countertops. And then you just put your blender that you buy at Sears on top of where the built-in one used to be. But there was all these like hutches and things, like you pull it out and
an articulating platform, basically.
Right,
pull
right.
out.
Everything was like convenient, but it kind of turned out that people didn't bake on a daily basis.
What?
And for the amount that people used the blender and actually did the baking and stuff, it's probably just easier just to shove the shit in the cabinet and pull it out when you'd use it. But there was a whole like, you know what it falls under the heading of. If you guys, and I've lived in I think 2 of these houses, if you ever live in a house that has the whole house vacuum system.
They have that too in that house.
It sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome.
It's like right up there with those 70s houses that have the intercom in like every bedroom, but
no intercom.
Everyone just goes, Grad, get the fuck in here. Like, use the intercom. I can hear you, asshole. Like there's it's gonna be so convenient, dinner's ready.
It has the vacuum system.
Yeah, the vacuum system. So anyone who lives in a house with the vacuum system, they have a wall jack. And it has a central vac system that leads all the way back to the garage. And there's one unit in the garage that does all the vac, the motor is like in the garage. There's a hopper. Yes, Brian.
In this house, there's basically ports under all the footings in the kitchen and the bedrooms or whatever. And there, the idea is you would attach a hose to the round port, click it in, and you got yourself a vacuum. And then you go to the next room and you got yourself a vacuum that always works.
So the house is always vacuuming,
and
you just plug it in.
Vacuum.
No. The house has these ports, and you plug it into the port. But you turn the system on. I mean, it's not just always.
Your kid's gonna get sucked into the
always vacuuming.
bucket.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it sounds totally cool, but at some point you just buy yourself an upright vacuum cleaner and end up using that. You never end up, because by the time you drag around the hose and the thing and the pipe,
where do you put it?
Where do you put it? Yeah, it sounds like this is convenient. This is the future. It isn't, and there's many, although I'm extreme. I kind of feel that way with dishwashers. I just feel like fucking wash the dishes, put it in the rack. But anyway, that is the modern. I kind of got away from that. I don't think modern houses are really doing
modern
that.
Never
houses,
seen it.
Well, modern houses are exactly the same now. They're just not analog stuff. It's a one-stop shop with your Nest and your lights and your this and your that, but it's not the analog junk.
And nobody back then anticipated the Roomba and the Swiffer and all this kind of battery operated. Like the best,
the Dyson.
The best is
the
battery operated shit where you can just buzz it around and have to deal with the cord at all. Anyway, there's the hutch and the thing.
So funny.
It's called a mixer lift.
A mixer lift. Right.
It needs a lift.
I got a couple more. Do you have time?
Go ahead.
So those were the cookies that we made for Santa. You can skip to the next one, Kaya. That's them. You can skip to the next one because Tessa's like, I'm leaving these cookies out for Santa, and I'm laying a trap. I'm gonna catch Santa. I'm like, okay. And it was a rudimentary trap made of pillows and whatever. But Christy wrote her a note from Santa saying, Tessa, nice job with the trap, but you're not the first kid to try and trap me or whatever. So there's the crumbs, there's the everything, and then go to the next picture. The cool thing about 4 years old, Adam, I don't know if your kids were like this. She only wanted one thing. She wanted the Disney Princess Palace. She must have seen it at a friend's house or something. That's all she wanted. And I was like, great, we can get you that and just a couple other random, underwear and shit like that. And so her day was made with those doors open, and it's a whole thing for the princesses. We overdid it on the gifts, not for her, but I don't know if you guys were the same way. Idle hands in the devil's playground, et cetera, et cetera. Like you're home, you're in front of Amazon. You're like, might as well just buy this thing that I just saw for my mom, or that bad example for you, Adam, for my friend or whatever. Exactly. go to the one if you can, Kalen, of her and Grandpa, because the cool thing about being a 4-year-old at Christmas, which I realize, is she is psyched about everything. Everything is awesome. Like my grandpa, who's like a photographer, got her a little Instax camera, the kind of it's a new Polaroid camera.
That face.
Right.
Look at her face. She is overjoyed at this, $20, whatever it is, $40. She's overjoyed. She couldn't be happier. It was the coolest thing to see.
And that is why little girls are 1,000 times better, because one of my asshole friends got this one, a fart launcher, which is about 3 feet. I can get it. It's in the other room. It's like it's a two, you have to operate with 2 arms. It's this giant, looks like a megaphone. It has a stink cartridge, and he just goes around just blasting the house, and it's his favorite thing. And I would give anything for him to want a princess castle.
Christy's grandma house, that's one of those too.
Uncle AJ Benza dropped that one off.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, real quick, he did announce, the little one did announce over the, unbeknownst to us, when we, every once in a while we'll ask him what he wants to do when he grows up. And it was policeman. Now it's, I want to build things and tell jokes on stage.
Oh boy.
So he can move in with you.
Wow.
You can have him.
He wants to be Tim Allen?
All right. Drew's not picking up.
No, I texted him. He didn't respond yet. So
All right, we'll see if he pops up. Let me hit Geico here. Yeah, do you rent? Yeah, sure you do. You do one or the other. Want to make it easy? How about you bundle your homeowners or renters insurance with your automotive policy, and you do it with Geico. Geico.com. Get a quote. See just how much you could be saving. Makes it easy. Visit Geico.com. Do it today at Geico.com. All right, we have the State of the Union. We've got some trending topics. Max Pata said there's a lot of stuff out there that we didn't get a chance to get to over the break, so he would just pick out some of the stuff that was trending while we're on our break, and we could discuss, and we'll do that right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Carolla crew, Dawson, Max Zapata, honestly, Kalen, everyone down, Adam, Gina, Bryan, you guys, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. You guys have done a great job of keeping us sane throughout this crazy year, and I just had to tell you, because without you, I don't really know what I would do. I'd lose my fucking mind. So thank you guys. You guys continue to kick ass, and I just thought you should know that. Love y'all.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Thank you, caller and listener. Appreciate it as we head into year 12.
That dude hit Kwanzaa, but not Hanukkah? What an attack.
Yeah.
No Ramadan.
Max Zapata got some of the things that were trending.
yeah. So while
I don't know if you guys were like me, but I got away from the news pretty far out from the news during this break. I did a lot of like
100%.
hiking and talking and not so much watching
Oh.
CNN. And
Great.
I think we're all better for it.
To that point, there's one more picture, Kalen. Put up the zoo picture, because the only place we actually really ventured out to was the zoo, and it turned out to be a great place to go in social distance. There weren't. Look at Tessa got up close with the giraffe. She's about 8 inches away from a giraffe.
Where'd you go?
We went to Christy's parents' rental property in La Quinta because her brother recently moved to Phoenix, and it was a nice in between where we could exchange gifts and blah blah blah. And while we're there, we went to the Living Desert, which is a zoo, and they have giraffes, and you can get really up close to them.
I was going to say that ain't the LA Zoo.
LA.
No, that's pretty cool.
LA's zoo can't be open, can it?
I don't think it is.
All right, trending topics.
Yeah,
What do you
so
got, Max?
while I was cruising Twitter, of course, I see a lot of your tweets telling people to get out from under the bed, sarcastically calling everybody heroes. It's fun to read, and of course, people are piling on Dr. Drew and you, especially Dr. Drew, just because of his early takes on coronavirus, and now that he has it, everybody's kind of piling on. And then there was even tweets like, can you believe that we once took sex advice from Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew? And then everybody's tweeting that out, and you're responding to them too, which is great. But then one person, Elaine Hunter, actually gave you credit. She said one time a man called in and said his girlfriend wouldn't give him anal, So Adam told him to go shit in a mason jar, put it in the microwave for a minute, and then have sex with it. That really made me laugh. And you responded, you forgot the bagel taped to the jar.
That's right.
Yes.
And that
Key
call is why
component.
Alec Baldwin and I are friends.
That call is why Alec Baldwin and I are friends.
Do tell.
Because as I've told you, Baldwin is a New York guy, and Loveline wasn't syndicated into New York, or maybe it was. I can't remember. But the deal was New York was the #1 city radio, market, and they didn't want a day-old show because they felt like we're #1.
Right.
And Loveline started 10 at night, West Coast. So it would have been 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. And then we were always like, well, just air it the next day. And they're like, we don't do that. We're New York. Yes,
Right.
Bryan.
I was gonna say I think I can clear this up because I remember getting a lot of calls when I screen calls for Loveline from Rochester and like that area, and so my guess is the driver who will become a character in this story probably got lived out there or got the tapes from out there.
No, the driver, Baldwin's driver, lived out here. I think he was he was in Phoenix or L.A.
Forget everything I said.
And he would tape Loveline on a cassette. And he was Baldwin's driver whenever Baldwin came out here to do a movie, which is, pretty frequently. And I guess the driver spent a lot of time in the car with him, and they're going to set and going locations and whatever. And he somehow got Baldwin hooked on these Loveline cassettes. And so he would always... So it got to the point where Baldwin would get in the car in the morning and say to the guy, what do you got? You got some fresh Loveline? And the guy would go, yeah, man. And he'd pop a tape in that he taped the night before or whenever. And they would just listen to Loveline on a cassette while this guy drove Baldwin around. And of course, I had no concept of this at all. And it struck me, the bagel and the mason jar and the heated up, that all came around when I was coming back from New York many years ago. And I was in the airport. I was at JFK and I spotted Baldwin. And there he was. I don't know, the American terminal or something. And I was like, oh, that's Alec Baldwin. He's a big movie star. And I was just like radio guy. So I didn't go up to him because I assumed he didn't know who I was. I didn't want to bother him. And then somehow it turned out we're on the same flight back to LA. And then at some point I stood up. I had a first class ticket. I was walking in toward the bathroom or the galley or whatever it was. And Baldwin just kind of turned the corner, like he just stepped out of the bathroom or something. And he's like, Adam Carolla, you're the best, or something like that. And I was like,
God,
what?
is this a fever dream with the plane going down?
You really have been drinking.
I know. And I was like, what? And he's like, what we doing in New York? And I remember this very clearly. I said, I was doing the Howard Stern show. And he went, he should do your show. And he pointed at me. I was like, okay, I don't know if that's going to work, but I appreciate it. And then I probably said to him, I have no idea. How is this that you know so much about Loveline, being an East Coast guy and everything? And he's like, oh, my driver tapes all of them. And then he starts getting into the story with the mason jar and the anal sex and the bagel duct tape to the top of the opening of the mason jar and putting it in the microwave and all that. It's like, that's the greatest call ever. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that call. And that's basically what that's popped my hymen with popped my cherry with Baldwin. So we both our love was born based on this anal sex mason jar bagel joke call from I don't know how many years ago, but somebody remembers it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he famously just called in the podcast randomly whenever we tweet out for calls. So anyway, it's funny that you tweeted that out because he's been in the news lately, actually more so because of his wife, Hilaria.
Is it Hilaria?
Well, it's spelled
Hilaria / Hillary.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's been a viral video that came out. Kaylin, you can just watch it, and it's her doing a cooking show where she can't remember a certain ingredient's name.
Oh, okay.
Very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have how do you say it? Cucumbers. We have
So just that short clip. viewed millions of times over the break because her real name is Hillary Lynn Hayward Thomas, and she's from Boston. And so, but they're just various videos where she's speaking in a pretty heavy Latin accent, and her creative artist, her creative CAA bio says she was born in Mallorca, Spain. She says that her family lives in Spain and she's raised speaking both Spanish and English, so she has trouble figuring it all out. She was just really nervous in that video.
I was screaming. I saw that video and I was screaming at it, Pepino, because I always want to know where the boxer Pepino Cuevas got his nickname and what Pepino meant. And it's just short for Pepe or something like that. Right. But Olga, my nanny, said Pepino means cucumber.
Which it does.
And I was like, that's an insane nickname for a boxer, cucumber. But I guess manatee would probably be worse. But either way, I was yelling Pepino. So does she have an accent or not?
No,
she doesn't.
She's been on Instagram Live at a little bit after Christmas, or Instagram videos, just kind of posting how she said, "Look, I said I was from Boston the whole time, no accent and anything like that." And she says, but she does think and sometimes speak with a Spanish accent just because she's around it. I mean, her kids are named Carmen, Rafael, Romeo, Eduardo, and Leonardo. And she's had Spanish in her culture, like growing up her entire life, so that's why she does it. But
her parents aren't from Spain.
Well, no, they're not. They're from Boston.
Everything I know about her, I know from an article I read 2 days ago from friend of the show, Joel Stein. He wrote an article and not an expose, but an opinion piece, and pointed out that her parents were very wealthy, and she grew up obviously in Boston in the nicer areas. But first of all, Mallorca, Spain is like Ibiza. It's a gorgeous island. It's where rich people, and they had a place on Mallorca, on a small island in Spain. And to have a place on Mallorca is you're doing pretty well. So I think she grew up there or spent a lot of time there.
And she never lied, because in the super cut of, this compilation, she always, she goes, my family is in Spain, not I'm from Spain. I was born, my family.
And Mallorca isn't exactly Spain. You know what I mean?
My Bostonian parents got a beach house that they summer in Spain.
It's the Balboa Island of the Mediterranean. So
it kind of
is called by the locals.
All their houses are
jealous of everybody now.
It's like saying they're from Compton, but they grew up on Balboa Island.
Well, but Alec, talk about standing by his woman in all of these compilations. He's imitating her, and he sounds like Sofia Vergara. He's like, oh, my wife, she's very spicy. She's Spanish. She says, Alec, why do you do this? So,
I think it's a good, so overall, everyone thinks I'm making a joke, but I'm not. We're living in a time when, 3 out of 5 hate crimes are a hoax, and women are just, I've never seen more women spread more shit on them to make them look darker and tanner. We have everyone's trying to pick up an accent. Like, I'm saying this is a pretty good time if in this country, in terms of race relations, if everyone is intentionally trying to pick up a minority status, like everyone's trying to get a little social status by picking up a little accent and darkening the skin a little and going Rachel Dolezal on our ass. Sad that we all know that witch's name.
Indeed.
But I'd say it's a good sign. Like, I don't know, has there ever been a civilization when a group was allegedly being held down and mistreated and abused, and many people in that group were trying to pick up that group's accent? No. Yeah,
quite the opposite. So if we're talking about Hollywood and Baldwin, the history of Hollywood is painfully littered with people going by Bobby Darin when in fact their name was God knows how many consonants and syllables. You know what I'm saying? Like, people was a great lengths to hide their ethnicity.
Yeah.
Or the other way. The first thing that came into my mind was Iron Eyes Cody, a nice Italian boy,
and the great Engelbert Humperdinck.
Right.
Yeah, but you got to go one direction or the other. But yeah, I think, oh God,
I think Tony Bennett had a really ethnic name, or like all these guys who had showbiz names.
You want to hide it?
Tony, what's his name from Some Like It Hot? Tony.
Curtis.
Tony Curtis, I think had a.
Yeah, all those guys did.
Yeah, and or pretending you weren't Jewish, knocking off the Berg or the Steen at the end. Yeah, we did. There was a lot of that traditionally. There's a group called Marranos, I think, back in Europe. They were like Jews who were sort of hiding that they didn't want people to know they were Jewish. And so this is a good day that people are now embracing other ethnicities. But I still haven't really answered the question. If I just woke her up right now and start talking to her, would she have an accent?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, she wouldn't. So yeah, everybody's up in arms about that. And so she has.
No, she would say, "What are you doing in my bedroom?" in very clear English.
Okay.
If you were wicked smart, you get out of here now.
Let me pull my pepino out. All right.
Yeah, but she's taking a social media cleanse because there are a lot of people upset with her.
Well, it's much ado about nothing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you're going to pick up an affect of another nation and you get busted, maybe deserve a little bit of shade.
All right. Speaking of people who were sent off into the cornfield, Kevin Spacey.
Spacey.
Oh, did he ever come back?
Further into
Did he ever make it back to shore?
So, he famously disappeared from Hollywood after he was publicly accused of sexual misconduct in 2017. Dawson has been suspicious for a long time, ever since they made eyes at each other at a concert.
Oh yeah, at the bowl at the
Santa Barbara
Santa
Bowl.
Barbara Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
all those feet at the beer gardens.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So every year for the last 3 years, he's been uploading a single video to his YouTube channel on Christmas Eve. Usually, it's been in character of his House of Cards, and it's all his House of Cards character, and it's always kind of confusing.
Yes.
But this one actually had an important message. So here's a little clip.
A lot of people have reached out to me this past year and have shared their own struggles. And my ability to be there for them has really only been possible because of my own difficulties. And while it's been a privilege to offer support, I have to say, frankly, it's also been beyond my abilities, and it's bigger than me. Because heartbreakingly, so many have talked about things having gotten so bad for them that they've contemplated taking their own lives. And that's enough for me to want to take an entirely different approach this year, to acknowledge their pain, and say to anyone out there who's struggling or contemplating that idea, please, please do not take that step. Even if you don't feel it, there are people out there who understand and who can help, because you are not alone. And so I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, a great 2021, and say to all those out there who might be suffering, it gets better. It does get better. Happy holidays, everyone.
What's wrong with
suffering
that?
with what? Depression?
Depression,
Suicidal thoughts?
And then
No, I got that, but
end.
but just in a vacuum, not because they've been ousted from their livelihood or
Right.
anything. Like
Yeah.
he's not connecting it to.
He
feeling
did
up
seem like he was
weight or
making a
anything.
connection, like they're in they're similar position or something.
He did lightly allude to it, but for the most part, it's just been, look, everybody's stuck at home and are depressed, and I just have to say something.
I got to tell you, the good news is there's been so many people have been Me Too'd in the last like 19 months that people can't keep track of them. I was talking to a group of people in Vegas, and they're like, "Oh, we want to go down to Italy," and I was like, "Oh, Italy! Oh, didn't that Mario Batali? Didn't that guy? Yeah, he got Me Too'd big time." And everyone's like, "Huh?" It's like, I was like,
Wow.
that guy, he got busted. He was like feeling up the sous chefs or whatever. And they're like, I didn't hear anything about it. And I realized everyone heard everything about it. They just don't have enough room in the hard drive.
Right.
You know, people at some point you just start scrubbing off one to make room for the next. And he got Me Too'd big time. I think he had to like sell all the shares and he went from like cookbooks and restaurants and Italy.
Oh, he had a cottage industry
to nothing. Like I don't know.
He
He's
had that cooking
completely
show,
outed.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow was his best friend and always on his cooking show, and I don't know that that's good for the image anymore.
Okay, so let me figure this out. Did he ever get like convicted of anything? Like,
I don't know. I got a text from a friend who is also a chef and alluded to or said like, yeah, his bad behavior has been known in the industry for a long time. This is second information. Take it for what it's worth. I don't know anything beyond that, but apparently it was not much of a secret.
Well, this is from last year, but it says celebrity chef Mario Batali is being charged with indecent assault and battery more than a year and a half after admitting to sexual conduct. Batali has faced civil litigation, but this time, this is the first time that he's been criminally charged for sexual misconduct.
And what's Spacey's status? There had that guy accused him. He was like a waiter at a restaurant. Then it later on kind of found out, it sort of came out that they were trying to soak him for some money and they threw the case out. But what's
am I
his
insane, or
status?
did Anthony Rapp come out and say he did, like a semi-known actor, a guy who works, but like he came out and said, yeah, when I was younger, Spacey pulled some stuff on me or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed to be that if he was a target of this mom and son, that it wasn't out of nowhere. They didn't pick Kevin Spacey at random. They knew he would take the bait. But I don't understand. Did you say, Chris, that people have wished him into the cornfield for this video?
No, just in the past, like, and then but he has
been.
Yeah, he's been popping up every year, at least every year for Christmas Eve. Obviously, not taking a bunch of major roles or anything like that. But yeah, that's kind of the big question. Where are we with Kevin Spacey? Is he okay? I mean, after leaving a message like that, you can't hate a message of that kind of nature.
No, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. The point is we all know way too much about too many people.
Yeah.
And it turns out that actors and Italian chefs they get a little handsy traditionally. those are two roles, you know what I mean? That traditionally, historically have been hands-on type roles. All right, I want to do a few more of these. We'll do the State of the Union as well. I want to hit Tommy John here. Start off 2021 right. Trade out those cheap underwear, the ones that are sliding down and can't keep up because the elastic's all shot on them. For some Tommy Johns, man. These things are the best. They don't have customers. They have fanatics. Everybody I know who switched to Tommy John has never gone back to whatever they're formerly wearing. And the lounge stuff is so comfortable, breathable, lightweight, moisture wicking fabric, 4 times the stretch of competing brands. Moves with you, non-rolling waistbands, legs never ride up. Each of Tommy John's 13 million pairs sold, covered by the no wedgie guarantee. It's the best pair you'll ever wear. It's free. They got a guarantee, right, Dawson?
Go to TommyJohn.com/Adam and save 15% on your first order. Go right now. Save 15% right now at TommyJohn.com/Adam. That's TommyJohn.com/Adam to save 15% on your first order. See site for details.
All right. We'll do a few more of what's trending. We got the news. We got the State of the Union. We'll do all that right after this.
Welcome back to the Adam Carolla Show. Let's look back on an honorable mention for the 2020 Ace Awards. For most uncomfortable moment, Paulie Shore and Adam Carolla.
I was at the store where it was 2 nights ago. I'm there with Chappelle and Rogan, and we're all sitting there, and Adam E. gets there, and we're in the back. And I had got an email from your producer, right? And it said, hey, can Adam start working out at the store?
Yeah, that was Mike August, right?
Yeah, he hit me up. So I forwarded it to Adam Egget, who's in charge of the comedians. And, and I guess he told me to tell you to call in.
Yeah.
So the way you have to do it, everyone has to call in. I call in, everyone calls in, and you do your spot. And then he said you went on 32 minutes or something.
No, I went 20.
Say?
I was
it's okay. You didn't know. You didn't know.
No, I did. I should have. It was 15-minute set.
Okay.
I did 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And I felt horrible.
That's terrible.
When he told me about it.
I don't do fucking 22 minutes. I get off at 16.
I did not know. I wasn't, the light. I was in the room I'd never been in and stuff like that. And I felt horrible.
Yeah. Because he said he wanted to send you back to the Laugh Factory. He's like, we're going to send him to Flappers, bro. I'm like, dude, give him another shot, dude. Just tell him the fucking rules.
Congratulations to all the 2020 Ace Award nominees and winners. The 2021 Ace Awards this December. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Never too early to start planning the 2022 or the 2021 ACE Awards. Jesus, I had to write down 21 for the first time the other day. Like I had to write down.
Oh, like a check or something?
Yeah.
Like 1, 2, 21. It seemed so bizarre.
Doesn't it always feel simultaneously like, how did we get here to like, hasn't it been 2021 for the past 6 months? Like, don't you have that feeling of like, of course, it took you long enough.
It was weird because 2000 was always the thing that everyone was looking at all through the 80s and the 90s. When did 2000, year 2000, it's going to be a big deal. That'll be the future and stuff. And now it's 2021, which doesn't seem like much. Also, I don't know. You want to be around during the beginning or the end? Like you hear about these people. He was born in 1821, or he died in 1825. Like I always go, oh, I want to, like, I feel that way with people and birthdays. Like when someone says, my birthday's in January, I always go, oh.
Really?
So close to Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. All right, we have some more trending stories, Max, about it.
Yeah, I'll round out the cornfield corner with one last guy.
Cornfield corner.
And this is today, actually, this has been happening. There's a guy who's been trending. His name's John Roderick. He is the singer from the aptly named band, The Long Winters. And he also co-hosts a podcast with Ken Jennings, but everybody's referring him as Bean Dad.
Oh, thank you. Please explain this to me.
Okay,
Yes.
so he tweeted last night. So yesterday, my daughter, 9, was hungry, and I was doing a jigsaw puzzle. So I said over my shoulder, make some baked beans. She said, how? Like all kids do when they want you to do it. So I said, open a can and put it in the pot. She brought me the can and said, open it how? And then he goes on to tweet like another 10 tweets, and they were at it for 6 hours trying to open this can. He wouldn't help her at all. She had to figure out all herself how to use a can opener. Lots of frustration, some tears. John said that neither he or his daughter will eat until the can is opened. Well, a lot of people are upset, calling it child abuse for him not letting his daughter eat for 6 hours and letting her.
And her prize was a can of beans.
Yeah, and the prize was a can of beans. Yeah, everybody's been up in arms, and so John's been responding to these tweets saying, "Look, 6 hours is not that long. It's from lunch to dinner. That's 6 hours. That's how long we go, and nobody should be saying anything about my daughter because you guys don't know our relationship." And he's been kind of fighting back. He even changed his Twitter bio to Bean Dad since 2021, and has been responding. But there's been some unearthed tweets that people have been digging up from his past.
Oh, really?
Because he's been in the spotlight. So, for instance, in 2012, somebody tweeted a screenshot of an exchange he had with a lady who said that her kid's soccer team was called the Stormtroopers, but mothers of the other team made us change it because of the Nazis. And he said, Jews ruin everybody's fun.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that he got caught for that. And then he also did a tweet where he said,
now, couldn't that be that's a joke?
That's
though.
a joke.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then he also said, every time I use a word like gay or retarded, some gay retard reminds me those words are hurtful. And that was in 2011.
Like this guy. And I love beans.
Deep Thoughts by Jock Andy.
And Adam knows how to open the can.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, one of the things that was a bit of a breakthrough that no one has in their house anymore, because I guess people don't do enough canned whatever, but going back to the conveniences and the promise of the future, the wall mount can opener with the big crank on it, the one that just sunk right into the wood, and you just put the 2 lag screws into it and go right into the casing of the door in the kitchen. You just crank that thing. That
same place the pencil sharpener would have been in class.
Right.
My friend's in-laws have this old house with the toaster that is built into the wall.
Yeah.
And you can pull out the toaster and it still works.
Oh,
It's like a Murphy toaster?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's like
yes.
a Murphy toaster.
Wow.
Yeah, but once again, it's not like anyone ever walked into their kitchen and tripped over a toaster. Like it
These
takes
damn cumbersome toasters.
Yeah, it takes up less than a cubic foot on your countertop. And if you don't got enough space for a toaster, you got bigger problems than toaster space.
Toaster.
It's a square footage issue. Right. So he likes to fuck around, this guy.
Yeah, and Ken Jennings has been defending him hard. Like, look, he is not an anti-Semite. He's just been joking. He's actually very pro-Israel in all of our podcasts and blah blah blah. So, so it's nice to see Ken Jennings defending him. But as of now, Roderick deleted his Twitter account after those old tweets were dug up. And the podcast, My Brother and Me, which used a song that Roderick wrote for the theme music, just announced that they would no longer be using that music on their show.
Who does the digging up of the old tweets?
How
does that job work?
I think it's because I mean, this guy tweeted a lot. So I think what you got to do is, if you hate a person, you put that person's name in the search bar and then just put words like retard, Jews, gay, and see if there's anything. I think, I mean, if I were a troll, that's what I would do.
Chris Luxamana.
Yeah. So, oh God. Also, people are super sensitive with kids now. Like, they're insane with kids. Like, everything, you can't fuck around with kids at all. And by the way, there's a big part of parenting which is kind of fucking around with kids. Like, kind of, it's in a weird way, in a bizarre way, it's kind of what you would do with your dog. It's kind of like that thing where you're throwing them the tennis ball and you do the pump once. Like, it's kind of, especially boys, it's fun to fuck around with them a little bit. Like, it's fun to go, you figure it out, or let's do this, or you just call them a name or something, or it's just, it's sad that everyone's going to take everything out of context and fucking ruin everybody. But they had to drop the song from the podcast.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I mean, he was responding to everybody saying they were insane and this is nuts, but then he deleted his account. So I don't know.
The song was called "Gay Retard."
Oh, that's why. I don't know about girls because I don't really I spend much time with little girls, but I can tell you, when it comes to this little boy, sarcasm is a love language. Like, if he says, "Come over here, I want you to give me a hug," I'll say, "I don't like kids and I don't like hugs." And he starts laughing and he thinks it's so fun. And I mean, that's how we can. Then of course I give him a big hug and tell him I love him. But we have to have that sort of back and forth first because it makes him laugh.
Yeah, ball busting is a time-honored tradition, and it always means affection. You bust the balls of the people you love. Ask Jeff Ross. I mean, that's how you do it. You play practical jokes on them, you bust their chops, you fuck around with them, and that's how you know you guys have a relationship. If you really just think about it, you would never dream of doing that to a stranger, right? That would be insane. And you wouldn't do it to someone you didn't really care for that much either. As a matter of fact, you'd never do it to someone you didn't really care for that much because you're always self-conscious that they do think you don't like them. So you go the other direction. You're always like saccharine sweet with them. But busting your kids' chops, time honored. And by the way, don't sleep on the Boston baked beans. Ask Hilaria. When she's not in Mallorca, she's cooking up those Boston beans. Nothing fucking better than those Boston baked beans. I feel like they've been sort of, I don't know. I feel like they've been combed out of our society. Maybe it's a West Coast thing. I don't see them anymore.
They kind of gone the way of meatloaf. They're just not on anyone's radar.
But they're so goddamn good. All right, let me hit LifeLock, and then we'll do a little State of the Union. LifeLock, you can increase cybersecurity attacks on pharmaceutical workers, phones, and tablets as they work from home. So everyone's working from home, and the hacks are getting into it, and they're getting sensitive medical data. Could be exposed. It's important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft are affecting our lives every day. We put our information at risk on the internet. Cyber criminals around the world keep finding new ways to steal identities. You can miss certain identity threats by just monitoring your credit alone. Good thing there's LifeLock, which detects a wide range of identity threats, like your social security number for sale on the dark web. If they detect your information has potentially been compromised, they will send you an alert. It's LifeLock, right, Dawson?
No, prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. LifeLock can see threats you might miss on your own. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year by using promo code Adam. Call 1-800-LifeLock or head to lifelock.com and use promo code Adam for 25% off.
So as I was thinking about the show in 2021, I thought 2020 was such a fucking pig fuck. All this COVID business
well put.
Yeah,
such
I mean, very well put.
It's like, and I don't know. I don't feel like anyone could really escape it. And then also a presidential race going on and stuff, and it just became very political. And I'd like this year to just get back to the funny and the poignant and the interesting, and don't have to talk about Trump, don't even have to talk about Biden, we don't have to talk about COVID, just to drift back. Although obviously this show started with Drew getting COVID, but I just happened to be there when he got it, so it's kind of hard to avoid that one. But I think for me, we'll pull out some of our evergreen bits, like Slippery Slope Guy and some of the bits we used to do on a more regular basis, and get them into who the F sells this S and things like that, and with a more of a focus on comedy and a little less on I don't know, COVID and all the shit that's going on that was irritating me all throughout the year. Although
it was a cathartic year. And
it was a cathartic year.
We cleansed in many ways.
We cleansed. And
although what? I got to hear the end of this.
Sorry.
I got to say, other than being bothered by everyone else being bothered by COVID, it didn't affect me that much. I didn't have real strong. It's like I said, Drew got it. I knew Drew got it, but I never thought about getting it. I have this bizarre relationship with things like that. I literally don't think about it. Like I have never thought about the vaccine once. I have no thoughts about it. I
think about it constantly.
And most people do. And for some, they should. For me, I've always been like, I'm not in that high risk zone. And if I get it, I get it. And I'll take the vaccine whenever the vaccine comes out, give it to all the people who are in the high risk zones and the essential workers, and do all that. And then if there's enough at the end, I'll take it. But you got to wonder, by the time they get around to folks like me, are we going to have herd immunity? I mean, I feel like everyone's going to get the vaccine before I get the vaccine. At a certain point, 80% of the population is going to be vaccinated. The other 19.5% will have had it already, and then there'll be me.
By the time they get around to giving it to you, who's left to catch it from?
Yeah.
Right. So there's that. So we'll focus on that. We'll pull out some of the bits, and we'll get those into regular rotation, and we'll steer toward the light this year. All right. Why don't we take a quick break, and then we got Gina and her first newscast of 2021. Oh, do I got Geico here?
No, sorry. I was just getting ready.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll do the news right after this.
Give me the news with Grad. News with Gina. Grad. Breaking viral. All those crazy Trump tweets. Give me news with Gina. Grad. Trouble in the Middle East. Celebrity drunk meltdowns. Need news with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
So there was this really horrible news that most of us woke up to on Christmas. It was unavoidable. If you have any news notifications on your phone, there was this bizarre bombing in Nashville early Christmas morning. But the thing is, nobody died. It looks like 3 people had minor injuries. It was in the middle of, a business, district essentially in, on Christmas morning. So there was nobody there. But that doesn't make this any less creepy. So the man who's now known as the Christmas bomber, Anthony Warner, got a disturbing, I'm sorry, that was incorrect. He was the friend of the Christmas bomber who knew him. This man, Anthony Warner, got a disturbing surprise in his mail New Year's Day. He received a package from the Christmas bomber. The package was postmarked on December 23rd, 2 days before this bombing, and this guy killed himself in the bombing. The package contained at least 9 typed pages, 2 Samsung thumb drives, and was immediately turned over to the FBI. The letter urged the friend to watch some internet videos he had included on the thumb drives. On another page, Warner wrote about 9/11 conspiracy theories. He said the moon landing and 9/11 have so many anomalies, they're hard to count. Warner later wrote that September 2011 was supposed to be the end game for the planet, because that's when he believed that aliens and UFOs began launching their attacks on Earth. He wrote about lizard people. He wrote about how they tweaked the DNA of humans, and so the reptiles are walking among us. And if this isn't all bizarre, I'm sure you've heard the audio by now. There was a recording, an audio message that played before the bomb went off, warning people to leave the area. And this is what was being essentially broadcast down the street, trying to get people to leave, I guess, before the bomb. Here's like 30 seconds of it.
This area must be evacuated now. This area must be evacuated now.
This area must be
evacuated. Evacuate now. Hear this message. Evacuate now.
So that was inside the RV. You can go ahead and see that. It was inside the RV where the bomb was. But then something that's since come out. Apparently, a call was put into the police that there were gunshots before the bombing. So they're wondering if this was a way to lure cops and first responders down there, but get everybody else out. Still unclear, still investigating it.
I wonder if the guy killed himself with a gun before the bomb blew up. Also, in terms of RVs, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, right? Like you see all these celebrities getting in their RVs and going to the Grand Canyon and Monument Valley and stuff. And then you see all those RVs parked in Sun Valley next to the airport, and the people
Breaking Bad RVs.
living in squalor.
Rich man, poor man.
It is a rich man, poor man thing, this RV. There is either the work, there's either nut jobs putting bombs in there, or celebs on vacation.
If your best friend tells you, oh, we're getting an RV, you were either really happy for them and their retirement, or you're really worried and concerned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this a full-time residence? What are we talking about?
Yes. So this guy blew himself up.
Yeah.
He didn't kill anybody else. I guess that's good. I don't know what he was doing and why he had to do it in downtown.
I mean, and he mailed these packages to people. So maybe to get attention about the reptile humans walking among us, because that's what this 9-page letter was about.
I never get the obsession with like the moon landing or things like that. Like my feeling is 99% sure it happened. If it was a hoax, God bless them. They fucking nailed it. One. That was awesome. And if it was a hoax, Neil Armstrong wouldn't have butchered his line.
That's right.
Right. They would have done a reshoot.
They would have got it. They would have got that. They would have cleaned that up in post.
Yeah.
Kubrick would have made sure they got a good take.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you guys see this? Talk about viral videos. This fight that went down in this doorway in Quebec. No. Oh my God, this is insane. Half in French, half in English. This violent confrontation went down in Quebec on New Year's Eve when cops were called to a home after neighbors complained there was a party going on, which is a no-no during COVID restrictions. There are no house parties. So they showed up. TMZ reports that cops say the homeowner lied to them, claimed there were only 2 people in the house, but there were tons of cars parked outside. So that story didn't hold water. And as all hell breaks loose, people inside start fighting the cops, which I'll show you in a second. The homeowner claims cops used excessive force and also tore into the PD because one of the cops wasn't wearing a mask. Well, a spokesperson for the department says, yeah, he wasn't wearing a mask because someone had just punched him and knocked him so hard the mask flew off because of this brawl. Cops say it's highly likely everyone inside will get slapped with some sort of a fine. And here's a little bit that somebody was recording on like the steps as they're doing a tug of war with the guy in the doorway.
Fuck you, Pete.
That's definitely drunk guy.
He's clinging to that doorway. Chicks are pulling him back.
Who's pulling who?
Oh, God. Can't even be a cop in Quebec anymore.
fucking do that. Don't you fucking do that.
Okay, calm down, calm down.
Stay fucking here.
Can we move? Okay?
Okay, we're calm. Don't do that.
We're calm. Don't do that.
We're people.
They're wrestling that guy to the ground in the wall.
I can't believe, it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of true. There used to be a kind of a reverence for cops. You couldn't talk to them a certain way,
Of course.
And now everyone's just up in their grill, fucking screaming at them, and every Karen in the world is calling them a racist and spitting on them and shit like that. And this is kind of the next logical step to just calling them fuckheads all the time and murderers or racists or whatever. It's just a physical. It's just that whatever that division was between the cops. Like when I was a kid, if a cop showed up, it's like, oh, dump out that beer, fucking maintain, look out, here he comes. Like,
follow that cigarette.
Yeah, you just had to. When I was young, if I was driving and a cop pulled up next to me, I would turn the radio down. Like I didn't want to get into trouble.
Oh yeah.
He may not like Boston, so I got to turn the shit down. Or Mallorca, my second favorite band.
That's right.
But the point is now it's not a good societal thing when everyone is putting their hands on cops. I know this is in Canada, right?
Yeah, in Quebec.
There was another incident that Max Pattican looked for. I saw it on TMZ over the break, which is like some guys were just sort of brawling. I think they're in Brooklyn or something. And then it kind of broke up. And then one guy like got into his car, and the other guy, there's two things. We used to have a certain reverence for cops, and we used to have a certain reverence for cars. Now everyone's just smashing everyone in the hood and taking mountain bikes and like throwing it against cars and all that kind of shit. And I'm so surprised it doesn't happen more often, but every once in a while, someone in that car is just going to fucking punch it. Like you can only stand in front of a guy's car and beat on the hood for so long before somebody just fucking punches it. And he drove this guy right through like a bakery window, like literally just hopped the curb, blew out the window. It was pretty spectacular shit. It was a TMZ thing. And that one guy like got out of the car and started punching the other guy's kicking the fender or whatever. And he got in front of the car and this guy just fucking punched it. There was another situation where like, I guess some elderly people are like in their SUV and a bunch of fucking assholes in New York, like were jumping on the hood and jumping on. I'm always surprised that not more people don't just mash the accelerator. Like, fuck it. There's a whole group of people trying to tear us out of our car and smash our car. We have a car.
Right.
It's almost like saying I have a gun and there's a whole bunch of people trying to attack me. Like, I don't know, shoot them. Like,
kind of stand your groundish. It's like, well, if you're being attacked inside your vehicle, there's one way to get out of the situation.
Well, and how many of those stories did we go through last year? And now we're saying last year with the rioting and the protesting.
That was last year, Gina.
Right? But that was the thing. The headline was always, like crazed driver punches it, mowing through crowd.
Right. I think everyone's worried about the optics of like the elderly white couple running over the black teen. But if the black teen is jumping on the hood of your car and trying to kick in the windshield, you go ahead and punch it. We'll worry about the optics later. Did you find that, Max Zapata?
I'm still looking.
It was probably TMZ, probably about a week ago, and it was pretty spectacular shit. I think it was out of New York, and the one guy, I think in the BMW, just punched it and just drove the guy right through the plate glass window of like a bakery. I don't even know if anyone got hurt, but it was like glass was flying everywhere.
You don't know if anyone got hurt.
I imagine someone got hurt.
Well, sometimes the most spectacular shit doesn't really yield a lot of bad results, and then sometimes it's the little shit where people really get fucked up.
Oh yeah, I found it. This is from it was mid-November.
Oh, it was mid-November.
Yeah, a parking spot brawl turns into a violent road rage crash, and the crash lands into a bakery.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we'll get the video in a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
And to bring it back to Alec Baldwin, he can say, look, we all get in parking spot brawls. At least I didn't drive anyone through a plate glass window.
That's right.
With
a fist like a man.
Yeah. It's again, cars can be dangerous. Cars will kill you. Cars kill you like a gun would kill you. And you never, like I always say, here's my thing. Don't treat cops like cops. Treat them like a dude with a gun.
Yeah.
It'll change your perspective. You'll tend not to want to wrestle. No one would wrestle with a guy who just had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just pretend the cop is just a guy with a gun. And if you're standing in front of a 4,000-pound car, pretend that person has a gun in the form of their right foot that they could just punch it and drag you under the fucking car. So treat the car like a gun and treat the cops like a guy with a gun versus law enforcement. Oh, it's a 30-second video?
Oh, no, it's 30 seconds till the video.
Oh.
It's loading right now. But while
Sorry.
we're waiting for that, I should let it be known that Rainbow Bakery, the bakery that was crashed.
Open that day?
Yeah, just open for business that Monday.
Brutal.
That week. Yeah.
Yeah, they literally just opened this bakery, and this guy drove his BMW right through it. And it was, again, glass was fucking flying. I don't know what happened to the guy who he ran over. I don't know if he was, I think he went back first. I mean, he was between the bumper and the bakery window, and this guy just went right into it. But
yeah, so I see the man behind the wheel, Ji Zhao, was arrested for assault and reckless endangerment, and then the passenger in the Audi, Jonathan Zhang, also arrested for assault. And the bakery owner said he was sad about his shop getting destroyed.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got that quote in.
Yeah,
makes sense. So hold on, he wasn't elated.
No.
Saying he was sad about his shop.
Yeah, TMZ reports that the bakery owner said he was sad.
That's some crack reporting. Do you really even have to pick up a phone call to get that? Pick up a phone to get that quote, or just
Probably
you could just
had to go under
pencil
deep
that in?
cover.
Yeah.
Deep cover stuff.
All right, we'll play it for you. They got into a brawl. The guy got out of the car. I think the guy's a stick or something.
Yeah.
We got something. Yeah.
Then they get into the street fight.
We got fists.
They got fists.
Baseball bat or something.
He's got like
It is a baseball bat.
like a
2-on-2.
club. Yeah. Then one guy gets back into his car, and I think
He's like, I don't want to park here.
and then there's like a round two where the guy goes up to the car and starts kicking the car, and he'll like try to turn it around. People, I don't know, they blame it on COVID or too many video games or too much Adderall. I don't know what's going on. But now the guy with the club is now smacking the car, and this guy then runs him over and drives his car right through a bakery window.
Well, at least he put his hazards on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now,
Wow, that car is inside that fucking bakery, like a
Inside
the
fucking
bakery.
garage.
That's like back toward the bathrooms. It's so far inside.
yeah. Oh yeah. His bumper's poking out of the bakery's ass.
Cops say 3 women and a man, including a bakery employee, hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries.
Was the guy sad that he got ran over?
That wasn't
That's just
reported.
it.
I don't know.
Get Harvey
Rainbow
Levin on
bakery
that.
owner sad.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty spectacular shit. Now, my feeling is no one deserves to be driven through a plate glass bakery window. But on the other hand, if you're going to stand in front of a car and beat it with a bat, then shit happens.
Yeah.
That's all.
You're rolling the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of dice rolling, and you know what? As you said in your State of the Union, I have high hopes that just this whole thing will go away by January 20th. But a little more, I think we could call this unearthed. A little more audio that was probably not planning on making its way to the public. Fox is reporting that President Trump insisted that he won the state of Georgia in the 2020 presidential race during a phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger over the weekend, reportedly urging him to find enough votes to reverse the state's results. So now I'm going to play you the audio, and it sounds like Raffensperger's on the phone. So whoever recorded this had to be in the room with Trump, but we don't know who they are, and we don't know who gave this to the Washington Post. So they reported the conversation. They posted like the full hour-long audio. And Trump says to Raffensperger, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more vote than we have because we won the state. And Georgia's certified election results show that Trump's Democratic opponent, Biden, won by 11,779. So he's just looking for one more. So after asking about the rumors that inner workings of the voting machinery had been removed and votes had been shredded, Raffensperger responds, and the conversation is concluded with this sort of back and forth. Here's just like a really short clip of it.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, you know, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president.
He's a president, right?
I'll be glad to be done talking about Trump this year.
Too. It also sounds, when you don't see any video, it sort of just sounds like Kyle Dunnigan's doing it.
Yeah, it's very Dunnigan-esque.
Hey, let me ask you guys, I don't want to get on COVID here, but I was in Vegas.
Here we go again.
And they were like, Seinfeld's coming to town and Sting is coming to town and these big acts are coming to town and they're going to do like a residency there and Sting's going to do a residency and the Who and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, how does this residency?
Who?
The Who. How does this stuff work now? Is Seinfeld allowed to put 5,000 people in an arena?
I'd be shocked.
In Vegas? And
well, now it's Vegas. I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Are they just soft penciling this in? Like, was this a date that was moved?
They're all up on the big marquee. They're coming to town.
Like in June or like in February?
When is Sting like coming to Caesar's Palace?
Because once vaccine becomes widespread, things start to open up widely. I could see them wanting to jump on it ASAP.
Probably...
Rod Stewart's coming to town. There was like all these big names, and I was like, well, how are they so sure they can pull this off? And there's no shows, to the best of my knowledge, there's nothing going on now.
I've Sting for dates from between May 7th to October 30th.
Yeah, there you go. Wow. They're probably putting billboards up like, hey, this is happening, in July.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I can see them wanting to get, advanced tickets or whatever. These people, I imagine the big venues are hurting.
I would imagine too, but I don't know. I guess they'll just sell them and refund them if it's not safe.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Hey, speaking of that, were you in Vegas on a weekend or during the week?
Sting's the luckiest fucking guy in the world, by the way, because Sting, it's like Sting plays his hits or just the singles or whatever it is. And all Sting needs to do, he gets up there with his bass guitar and he just turns every song into a reggae version of the song you remember, like Roxanne is a reggae. Yep. Don't Stand So Close to Me. It's all just gets done in this kind of reggae sort of, and he plucks away on the bass and everyone loves it.
Oh yeah.
I was there over the weekend.
Okay. I asked because, a lot of those hotels are closed during the week now.
Oh.
Just because they can't afford to pay a staff for an empty hotel. So I didn't know if you had noticed that or not. They're closed from like Monday to Thursday or something like that.
I gotta tell you, the casino was hopping, the strip was hopping, the restaurants were hopping. There were no signs of that place slowing down or closing down in any way, shape, or form. So that's Vegas, and then you fly your 100% full Southwest flight back to LAX. But as you fly back to LAX, you fly over the Rams and Chargers new stadium, which has not had a human being in it.
Tumbleweed.
Literally not one spectator. Imagine that you build a $5 billion stadium and one human being has never seen a game of one spectator in that stadium yet. And the season's now come to an end.
It's like opening a bakery, having a BMW crash through the window in the opening week.
That's right. That's like that Alanis Morissette song.
Well,
what else we got, Gina?
Yeah, we can shit on LA all we want, but that doesn't mean we're not number one. The LA County is the most dangerous area in the United States, according to FEMA. After doing the little research on different counties, FEMA calculated the risk for every county in America for 18 types of natural disasters.
Oh, like earthquakes and fires and
hurricanes,
shit?
tornadoes, floods, volcanoes, even
Tsunamis.
tsunamis. The pandemic wasn't even counted. And we already know we're in lockdown, shutdown, hotspot mode. Of the more than 3,000 counties surveyed, FEMA found LA County has the highest ranking in national risk, in the National Risk Index. So the calculations are made in an index determining how often disasters strike, how many people, how much property is in harm's way, how vulnerable the population is, and how well an area can return to normal. That determines its risk, which evaluates how bad the results of the carnage would be. LA has this dense urban environment. We're a prime target. FEMA's top 10 riskiest places are LA County, 3 counties in New York, Miami, Philadelphia, Dallas, St. Louis, and our neighbors, Riverside and San Bernardino counties, right here next to LA.
What goes on in Riverside? Are these people falling off of ladders, or this is actual?
I think it's natural
nature.
disasters.
Yeah, and it's like natural disaster, how quickly you could recover, how dense is the population.
I've lived in LA my whole life. Earthquakes kill, I don't know. We have an earthquake every 14 years and it kills 2.5 people. It's just earthquakes. People have the same relationship with earthquakes as they do with sharks. Every time I talk to somebody who won't go in the ocean, they're like, I'm not going in because of sharks, man. It's like, you're not going in the ocean because of sharks. Yeah, no, I don't like it. And it's like, right, statistically, it's a 0, obviously, in terms of danger. But it's a 0 with earthquakes, too, but it's also invisible. People can't see it. They can't time it, and it freaks them out. People don't like going into the ocean because they can't see, especially out here. You can't see your feet. They don't like the idea that there's something down there that they can't see. And I was trying to get my son in the ocean the other day, and he was explaining to me that 95% of the ocean is unexplored.
You can't get him into third gear.
I know.
I don't know if 95, but
until they explore more of the ocean, he's not going in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll talk to Jacques Jr. or God, what's the director's name? Is always Titanic. Yeah. But
do you think that's the reason, or is it because you're out there at 6:30 a.m. trying to
push him into the ocean?
I was going to say, are you in a salmon boat in the middle of nowhere? Or is
Come on, boy.
On the shore?
I go in the ocean, so I just go out there and swim around, and then I come back and I try to push him out in the ocean too. But he got up to like his kneecaps, but he doesn't like it. We saw dolphins.
Tessa gets in deeper.
Phil gets in deeper. We saw a nice pod of dolphins going by. He was sure they were sharks.
Adam, now might be a good time to remind him that he has more of a chance of getting raped by a dolphin than bitten by a shark.
Oh no,
great, Gina. Now one more thing to be afraid of.
He's factored that in.
Okay.
In fact, he told me dolphins were not. I know, like we all grew up watching Flipper. That is not the situation with dolphins.
No.
But if you think about either the ocean or earthquakes, they never really do anything to anybody. I mean, in terms of like sharks and that kind of shit, everyone's perpetually freaked out by them. And there's really no need for it at all. Earthquakes, by the way, when it comes to like technology and engineering and building and codes and all that kind of stuff, there's really no danger anymore. And we don't even really have them. Now
you'd have to be like outside by a downed power line, like a freak accident.
Yes, you'd have to have something like that. All right, let's do one more, Gina Grad.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's wish somebody a happy birthday for the last story. Greta Thunberg. How dare you? Greta Thunberg. She has turned 18, and she thanked her fans with a snarky little Twitter message about how she was celebrating. Her tweet said, "Thank you so much for all the well wishes on my 18th birthday. Tonight you will find me down at the local pub exposing all the dark secrets behind the climate and conspiracy.
Sorry, the climate and what? We had a little snafu.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, the climate.
Hello,
what,
hello.
Conspiracy?
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Better, yes.
I think it's because I was speaking ill of Greta Thunberg.
Oh, no.
I got smote. She says she'll be at the pub exposing all the dark secrets behind the climate and school strike conspiracy and my evil handlers who can no longer control me. I'm free at last. So that is how, and she has a t-shirt and she put up Kaylin, I don't know if you have it, her little birthday. Yeah. That Flat Mars Society. Happy 18th.
Gotta keep an eye on this one. I don't trust her. Is she back in Sweden? Where is she? She's somewhere, right?
Isn't she from the Netherlands?
I think
I
so.
really couldn't tell you.
Home of the pina colada.
That's right.
As Dawson knows.
A famous Dutch drink.
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Her Twitter bio says Sweden.
Oh,
Okay.
Sweden.
All right. Well, we look forward to good things coming from her. But I do want to say you only get to be a kid once, you know?
Too
and,
late.
you know, having the weight of the world on you. Also, when you're into solving problems, and we should all be into solving problems, you should pick problems that are solvable.
Yes, go with the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, like nail fungus or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to get some of this Tenactin spray or something from the drugstore, and I'm going to take care of my nail fungus or whatever that problem is. Make it solvable. If you're 15 years old and you've decided that climate and global warming and all this, or even systemic racism or something like that, that's your problem, then you're just going to go decade after decade after decade, because there is no finish line for solving systemic racism or climate change or whatever. It's just going to be continue albatross. And I'd say pick some stuff like, I don't know, a leaky roof.
Hanging a picture.
Yes, things that can be solved. Pepper some of those problems that can be solved in there, and it's a much better life. Yeah,
you're right. Sorry, Gina. Experts do say to, like, on your to-do list, put a few easy things in there just to get yourself rolling.
Yep, do the easy things first. And I think she is trying to fix a leaky roof called the ozone layer.
Well, the ultimate leaky roof. That's right.
All right, let's bring her home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, last but not least, we got Geico. Do you own? Do you rent? Well, you do one of those. How about you do a little bundling? Geico makes it easy. Take that homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy and bundle it up. Save a bunch of money, save a bunch of time. Just go to geico.com, get a quote, see just how much you could save. It's easy. It's simple. Take the homeowners, take the renters, take the auto, and bundle it up. Just visit geico.com. That is geico.com. Naples, Florida, off the hook, January 16th, 17th. Tickets are almost sold out to that, so it says Mike August over the holiday break. So we'll do a live pod there, and we'll also do some stand-up there. But if you want to get in on that, and you want to come out live and check it out, it's almost sold out. So please go out and buy up the rest of those tickets. Burbank, California, got the Pickwick Bowl January 23rd, doing a parking lot show, stand up there. Dawson's going to be opening, everybody, doing stand up as well. Oklahoma City, Bricktown Comedy Club, February 26th, 27th. So go to mcroll.com for all the live stuff. We're doing a Q&A tomorrow on stereo at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Today, as you hear this.
As you hear this, sorry. And until next time, I'm for Bryan and Gina saying mahalo.